G'day, welcome to Brave Tarot. If you clicked on this video and if it found you, for real, obviously the chances of this occurring are so low at this time because there's less than 30 people subscribed to this channel. So I would highly recommend you stick around and have a listen because I have a reading. It's kind of like a warning almost from Spirit. And it feels like a warning that's going to save you a heap of time if you adhere to it. And it's a little bit out of my scope or like scientific understanding. So it's going to take me a little bit of explaining to like work you through these images that I'm getting. And as I often do, the imagery that I channel is really a bit random and kind of weird, but it should make sense to you in the end. So this message is about distraction. I'm seeing 11:22 on the clock, 1122 if those numbers mean anything to anyone. And it's about, so the imagery is all about materialism, but it's pointing to something way deeper, which is an energetic feedback loop that occurs in relationship with your desires and your patience. So basically it's the difference between you being deeply fulfilled in your livelihood versus chasing a fleeting high. And basically, like the easiest comparison would be creating videos for TikTok, or maybe even worse, like YouTube Shorts, where you post once and that's that one moment or that one day where it's been posted is where you gamble for attention. And if the next day's passed and you haven't gotten that attention, then it was kind of a failure and you have to do another one and you have to keep producing, versus like making a blog post on maybe a less popular website, which doesn't seem as lucrative, or the lottery doesn't seem to have as much money in it, but the long-term value you get by having this deep thought piece out there in the world for people who genuinely can understand and absorb everything that you have to offer. That's just the introduction as a metaphor for what we're talking about today. So basically what I'm seeing is that you're in a situation where you're very sensitive to distraction at this time. And the distractions come in the form of desires. So this could be the desire to spend money on clothing or something materialistic that is very popular. That could also be like buying a membership to pay AI to make reels for your content. Like these short-lived bursts of excitement and reward. And then I'm seeing that if you adhere to that type of thinking, so this could be in anything, your creativity, your job, like maybe getting a job that was easier to acquire and pays more, but is ultimately soul-sucking, versus taking the long road and being patient. I think you're getting the point with like the difference between these two worlds. But I'm seeing you now with like you're holding all of these gift bags, and the feeling that I get is that you're suddenly successful because you've been riding the waves of hype and doing exactly what you need to do to stay cool and on top of trends and on top of your own materialistic dynamic of like immediacy, immediate reward and feedback. And now you're at the peak of that experience, right? Sometime in the future, if you follow this path. And you're holding all of these bags. And the bags are full of just like colorful little, actually it's colourful snakes is what they're full of. And I think the snake, in symbolism, the snake often represents like Satan or the devil. And there is a distinct feeling that riding this wave of immediate reward, it's almost like an imprint or like a template of negative energy that is placed over the world. And this is obvious, right? Like all of the worst things about the world are in line with people who are greedy and want power and money and stuff. And those waves, they're almost like currents of fake information that like hit your brainwaves, and they're distractions by the enemy kind of thing. And so in this case where you're handing out all of these like colorful snakes, it's like, and the bags are pink as well. So like soft pink, and it feels like they're coming from your heart. And so you've done all of this work to build yourself up to get to this state of popularity and success. And now you're handing out these snakes, and the people show no gratitude, and they run away and they throw the snakes in the bin. And then you're left with these empty bags and nothing in return for all of this heartfelt work that you put in, purely because you were just slightly distracted by your desires or unclear on what your truest desires were. Now, the opposite image is also provided here, which is the version of you that stuck to a long run of motivation and desire that was not as glamorous. And you hear this all the time. This is like the story of the hare and the tortoise. But what I'm saying about this is that if you manage to weed out these distractions, and you can distill or decipher for yourself what are your truest values, like your core values in this life, and do not think about what anybody else considers valuable or also mesmerizing or amazing. Like, what are the things that you find exciting, impressive, and incredible that maybe nobody else around you agrees with? And then I'm seeing you creating this little paper bird, like a paper swan, and you're keeping it safe. And so nobody knows that you're creating this thing. This could be akin to, you know, developing a small business or a hobby, like a passion project, and not telling the world until it's strong enough. And so like you're creating this fragile little bird and you're keeping it safe, and you're not telling anyone that you're building this thing. But through every cycle, it could be like the lunar cycles, every cycle of distracting materialism where, the most popular thing right now is yellow sneakers. And then next month, the most popular thing is false eyelashes. You're not being swayed by any of those things, and you've got your head down and you're building this little paper crane. And then over the months, the crane, you start to cover it in paper mache. And then it becomes this strong entity that cannot be destroyed because it's stood the test of time and the seasons. And now what I see, by you creating this feedback loop of positive reward within yourself, because the reward is coming from you producing this paper mache bird instead of by buying the best new thing or getting those quick dopamine hits of popularity. You're there building this bird meticulously, and you're nourishing yourself via your own pathways of satisfaction, and you're doing it just because you love it. Then, when you fast forward into the future, when this bird has become so strong and readable, like legible, like people can see what it is and they can feel the work that has gone into it, you now attract all these people who aren't asking you to give them a quick gift. They actually have a gift in their hand for you because they appreciate the work so much. And that's simply just a multiplication of what's inside of you. So where this frivolous, fast, quick reward thing came from this impulse of quick reward, you get quick reward back. But in this situation where you are hustling long term, only doing things that deeply excite you and that stand the test of the cycles, the people come to you and they stay and they want to see more and they want to help you build the bird. It's like a completely inverted loop of satisfaction and long-term reward. So this could be applied anywhere in your life, but I think the ultimate exercise here is to really look at who you are without anybody else there, and even play out the fantasy in your head of getting the thing that you think you want right now, and feel or analyze the feeling states that come up when you imagine this. Does it feel fleeting, or does it feel deeply satisfying in a way that rewards who you always have been in a visceral, everlasting sense? I think that is the message for today. If it resonates, check out my one-to-one readings in the link in the description below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be brave, and I'll see you in the next reading.